38. We're flying through the year now, so I hope you're all really, really well. This week's flag, you're going to need some bits of fabric and some machine thread. Obviously, your background for your flag. I'm using one of my go-tos, which is a bit of vintage quilt. You need to have a little bit of a stable background because we're going to be stitching onto this. So what do you need to do this week? Well, we're going to look at little circles and building up a little texture going up our flag. So all I've done with this is my little bits of fabric. I have just cut myself a little strip. Now some of you might have those cutter thingies, die cutter thingies that might be able to cut circles and stuff out like that for you quite quickly. I don't, so I just resorted back to using my thumb as a little bit of a guide. So I've just folded my fabric up. It's just so I can cut multiple pieces, and then all I've done is I've just used my thumbnail as a little bit of a guide just for going around. So it's just cut a little bit, twist, cut a little bit, twist. Just keep going all the way around until you've got a little pile of circles. So I've chosen 3 colours that I am going to use. And all we're going to do, it's a little bit like creating a fish scale. So take your first one, pop it on your point, and then we're going to keep our stitching really simple. So you need it towards the top edge of your little circle, and you just want to do a little running stitch just across the top. You're going to need a few pins so we can hold the next layer in place, and we're just going to work our way up our little flag. So I hope everybody is well today, all fine and dandy. So I'm busy looking around now for my pins, which seem to have vanished off the face of the earth. Oh, and I've just got myself a little box of pins that were just really cute. Right, take your next colour. Now what you want to do, a little bit like fish scales, you're going to offset them. So where you've got your circle, you're going to do your next one so it overlaps so you can't see that stitching that you've just done. Pop a little pin in just to hold them in place. Now you can do this, you could do every single line a totally different colour. It could range from pattern fabrics to plain fabrics. It's totally and utterly up to you. So then you just do the same thing, coming back the other way, stitch these in place. So a little running stitch. You can play around with how close you get these. So you could have them really, really close together. Spread them out a little bit. I've done circles because I quite like that as a shape, and in my head I thought it was going to look quite nice, but there's no reason why you can't have different shapes. Sorry if you can hear the vacuum cleaner going. My hubby treated me to a robot vacuum cleaner, which I was quite sceptical of to start off with, but actually it's quite good because when you're busy sat doing this, you just set it off going, and then when you've finished, it's vacuumed your house. Right, if you get to a bit where it's going to go off the edge, take them right off the edge and we'll trim, well, we may trim them, might not trim them actually, look quite nice, sticking off the edge. There we go. That one's there. That one's there. So this fabric I've got, it was gifted to me by, I'm not 100% sure who. I can't remember right now. I've ended up with so much stuff. So if anybody is listening and they did send me the fabric, there was a full bundle of dyed fabrics, which, oh, they're just so yummy just to keep delving into. So I cannot believe we are on week 38. The year is just flying by. What a strange world we've been living in recently. Obviously, as you know, I'm ahead of the game, so actually when I'm busy stitching these, it's just not so long after the Queen passed away. So it feels strange because it's like when I do the videos, I've no idea what's going to be happening around the time that they actually go live. So it's like I'm living in my own little flag bubble. It's my little world. It's just as it is. Sat in my room by myself, which I always said I would never ever want a job where I was sat in a room by myself. And I've now ended up with a job, where I am sat in a room talking to myself. Isn't it weird how life throws you a curveball every now and again? I never thought I'd be sat in a room by myself just sewing. No way. So each time you put a layer down, you're going in between the previous ones and then just add in your extras onto the ends. It's quite apt this because I've just started watching Game of Thrones again. One of the things, you know, there's a new series of something coming on. I always like to go and watch a previous series so I can remember what it was that I was watching. I'd forgotten how kind of violent the very first season was. It just reminds me, the only reason I'm mentioning that is because it reminds me of Dragon Scales. So the banging that's now going on is my daughter upstairs. It's, 20 past 11. And she's only just got up. She claims she forgot to put her alarm on. I think she just couldn't be bothered to get up, to be honest. I don't know. You'd think being in the house nearly by yourself all day, it'd be quiet. Nope. That is not the case. It has decided that it isn't quiet. Mind you, it's my fault that I set the vacuum cleaner off. But it is just quite nice knowing that when I go out the room, the upstairs will be all vacked. Duncan thinks it's hilarious. He didn't like it to start off with. But there's a little like cleany thing that spins on the outside to get like the edges. Well, he just thinks that's like a toy. It's not yet been brave enough. I think both the kids thought when we'd got it that he would just sit on it and travel around the house on it. I've seen that on quite a few YouTube clips. But no. There was a lot of hissing went on to start off with. Now he just sits and looks at it. So basically, this week, this is what we're doing. So I can't wait to see all the different types of fabrics that you're going to use. Maybe choose a colourway, have a look at your flags. Is there a colour that you haven't used? Have you got a little bit of fabric that's a favourite bit of fabric? Remember what I've said about using your fabrics. So if you've got a favourite bit of fabric, you're only cutting off maybe a centimetre strip. I'm sure that you could be brave enough to do that. Cut off your little centimetre strip. And then cut out your little circles. And then I can't wait to see. Oh, I think these ones might get cut off. I might cut that in half. That's a bit big. I can't wait to see what everybody ends up doing with your little fabric pattern fish scale inspired flag. So I will see you next week. I'll post some pictures of what I've done. Please share on Facebook and Instagram. Mwah! Happy Friday, and I will see you soon.